whatever it's doing, it's doing it right these days. How many weeks has it since that intro has frozen? Anyway, I'm not complaining. It is. It's doing what I always hoped it would do. Yes. You may have noticed that I'm moving around a little bit at the moment, and you're not hearing the squeaky, creaky chair. That's because I've got a new chair. It turned up yesterday, so a fair part of today was me spent in flat pack hell putting it together. But it's worth it. It's a fantastic. I can't believe how comfortable it is. Anyway, cheers everyone. It's Friday. It's 5 o'clock. I've got a new chair. I've just poured me beer. You know what comes next. Oh, yes, indeed. Heineken is the poison of choice today. Let's abide by the custom and tradition of this parish by seeing who is in the chat, and more importantly, who was first in. Dave Fiendish, first in. Well done, mate. Then Rent to Kill, Terry Day, Ben Allmark. Then we've got Malcolm Thompson. Theme Tunes is in as well. So is Anton, Sean House, Peter Collins, PFY Guitars, Steve Entwistle, Balder 64. He's still working, but yes, I got a package from someone who lives in the doghouse in Redcar. That will be me, mate. Yes, indeed. There's been a kind of there's been a particular guitar here that you've seen on the channel for a while. A while ago, that finally made its way up to Mr. Balder there. And yes, and he messaged me earlier today. He's very happy with it. Then who else have we got? We've got Mark Kerner. We've got Peter Nicholson. We've got Dave Lewis and Graham Reeves. There's Mickey Walnuts, Frank Bolam, John Ross, David James is in, and so is Stephen Hedger, who's just fitted a set of Gibson, let's put you on screen, mate, just fitted a set of Gibson bass bookers into his Bernie Les Paul. They are without doubt the best sounding humbuckers available and sound absolutely gorgeous, truly stunning. Do you know what? I'm of one mind with you there on that mate. You know, I know Glenn Fricker is always talking about how pickups make no difference, and I suspect when you're talking about the kind of high gain metal tones that he's accustomed to recording and dealing with, pickups probably don't make that much of a difference. But for us dad rock fans, for us kind of gentlemen of a certain vintage who like a bit of low gain or kind of edge of breakup sort of tones, then they make a difference. The burst bookers I've got in my Les Paul Tribute are absolutely my favourite humbuckers, really. That's all I can tell you about them. Then we got Grandpa Joe, and we've got Peter Williamson, Austin Barrett, Peter S., Vincent Brennan, and there's Ian Clark, who's working at home today. So I'll be enjoying the whole show. Happy days from a soggy Sussex. Yeah, it's been a bit overcast, grey, drizzly, a little bit of fog. We've got a wind farm just off the coast here, and whenever it's foggy, those things have it's not a foghorn that goes off, it's more like just a kind of beep, so you can hear when it's foggy outside, because you can hear the foghorn beeps, or the wind farm beeps. Anyway, we got John Channing, Johnny D, Mississippi Blues, Nathan is in, so is Dr. Gomez 1, and Austin Barrett is the artist formerly known as Deco Dude. Nice to see you, mate. Excuse me. Then we've got Heidi and Poppy's World, Paul Trainer, BSc, no less. Michael Purcell is in, so is David Evans, Calby and the Rocco Cat, Jed Ellis. And then there's Deco Dude as his alter ego. You're double subbed. Well, everyone counts, mate. It's like kind of putting both hands up to vote, isn't it? Can we have a show of hands, please? Does that count for two? Um, and then Grandpa Joe, let's what you've been saying there, mate. Hello, Fatacasters. If you like the work that John gives us, consider joining his Patreon tier 2. The added benefit of a live chat is well worth the cost. We had a great time on Tuesday. Indeed, we did. Yeah, that was the first tier 2 Zoom chat. There was myself, there was Mississippi Blues, there was a chap called Tony, and there was Grandpa Joe, and there was Calby and the Rocco Cat. And we just basically sat and kind of had a guitar-related natter, a chinwag, gentlemen of a certain vintage talking about a shared common interest, and just, kind of a little bit more like a sort of a more kind of exclusive and intimate version of what we're doing here. And that's happening every other Tuesday. So it won't be happening this coming Tuesday, but it'll be happening the following Tuesday, which will be, I don't know what the date is, but not this coming Tuesday, the one after, and every other Tuesday from there on in. And the tier 2 thing's starting to really take off. I did a reaction video that I put up on tier 2 last week, and had a lot of fun doing that. I'm going to be doing some more of those for definite. And so if you fancy joining, you get all of the all of the regular benefits that you get from the Patreon thing, all of the tabs and jam tracks and all that good stuff. And then you get to hang out every other Tuesday, and you get a few extra bonus reaction videos as well. There's Mississippi Blues saying, enjoyed the Zoom get-together on Tuesday night. I've been practicing the picking using the techniques you suggested. Well, glad to be of help, mate. And there's Colin Falcon, Maria Muggs Davis, and we've got Stuart Young. We've got David Phillips there, who's made it home in time for the live stream, and he's got a bottle of lager on the go. We've got Gary Shaw. Nice to see you, mate. Rexamatic is in, and who else have we got? We've got Martin Bix, who's back in the UK from his holidays today. Made it in time. There's 60s man. There's my mate Steve Cassidy. Don't forget, Steve has a video going out straight after this live stream, so get yourselves over for that. Guaranteed to be worth watching. I think it's one of your Gear Street videos, isn't it, Steve? I watched your live stream today while I was putting this chair together. I'll just give you a little view of the chair. There it is. It's like the mastermind chair, isn't it? Shame it doesn't have a bloody mastermind sitting in it, really, isn't it? But yeah, as I was swearing and giving myself blood blisters putting this chair together, I had your live stream on the TV, hence why I couldn't do the old clickety comment thing. You need to figure out how to get that sound effect on your live streams, mate. There's Robert Forsyth, and we got Mott the Hoople 2010. What are you saying there, mate? I'll throw this out to all of you. I know it's not in John's ballpark. Anyone tried 12s on a Jaguar? If so, what did you think? Cheers. I don't think I've ever played a set of 12s on anything. But if you have, then there's a man who's curious about it. We got Jay Aoyong, we got Stevie Mack, we've got who else? We've got Peter Goddard in, and Dudley Squat, and there is Bill Mumbo, and who else? John Dixon, Billy Paul, Malcolm Spillett. Nice to see you, mate. Oh, sorry to hear your missus is in hospital, mate. Please give her our best, and it's. I know that she's got, she's kind of got maybe a season ticket at the hospital, hasn't she, mate? And that's never a good thing. So just give her our best and tell her to keep her chin up. And more importantly, mate, you keep your chin up as well. Then we've got Chris Otterwell, who came out of hospital today after 14 nights. Pleased to be home and ready to rock and roll. Well, almost, yes. Who isn't pleased to leave the hospital in the rear view mirror? Certainly not me. Sometimes Dim Never Thin says no chance of first, so how about last? And Jay Aoyong, wow, NCD, yes, new chair day, mate. Happy new chair day. Here's to the new chair. No squeaks today. No, it's I won't lie to you, this is not a cheap chair, but I spend you could buy a guitar for less than I paid for this chair. You could buy a half decent guitar that, well, let's say you could buy something of maybe not the cheapest tier of Harley Bentons, but something a little bit more expensive Harley Bentons for the price I paid for this chair. But you know what? I sit in here facing this desk or that one over there for a good 10 to 12 hours a day. And given the fact that I do have, a recurring back problem, which reared its ugly head again the other day, just briefly, it just seems a bit of a false economy to cheap out on the chair I sit in for 12 hours a day while I'm working. Steelhorse 75, no beer for me yet, for just me. Heading to a pub at 7:30 to see a band where a few Guinnesses will be had. Well, good for you, mate. Who else we got? We've got Janice L. We've got cracking name for a band, says Peter Shields, Flat Pack Hell. There's Mr. Chris and Phil B and Ian Checkley, and Chris Smith is in, all the way from Nova Scotia. Who else we got? We've got Graham Campbell. We've got Ian Rouse. We've got Robin Fawcett. And what are you saying there, John? How come, John, you view of the people must be in a different order? I was 16th to enter, never shows in the same order. I don't know, mate. You see, I'm watching. I've got the chat here up on StreamYard because that's the platform I use, as you can see by the little. If I kind of hold my, no, it doesn't work like that. I was trying to point at the logo in the corner, the StreamYard logo in the top right hand corner. So that gives me the chat, and I do know it sometimes differs from what you see on YouTube, and that is just file that under things that are beyond my control. There's Budget Pedal Chap and Eric Luttinger. Johnny D is there, and GRB Aquatics, and who else have we got? Let's have a quick look. I think that might be everyone. Oh, there's Edward P. Ravensmead as well, and I think we're pretty much all aboard now. So yes, Neil Roberts is in as well. Apologies if I've missed anyone. 151 souls on board as I speak, and as I lubricate the old vocal cords. Here we go. Right. Time to tell you what's coming up. Oh, apologies for not wearing the Fatacasters t-shirt. It's in the wash. Yes, bad planning there. Not getting it in and out the laundry in time for it to be ready and dry for today. I promise I will do better in future. Let's tell you what's coming up on the channel this week. Anyway, on Sunday we have a little bit of a tribute to one of the, I think, most important figures in the British blues scene, who sadly left us a little while ago. It's a sort of an indicator of how far in advance I do these videos, that I recorded this video within a couple of days of the passing of Mr. John Mayall, of the Blues Breakers fame, and but there wasn't like a video slot I could put it in until Sunday, where that'll be the 8th of September. But I did this back in July, and it's just a little tribute video to John Mayall, featuring a piece of music that will be forever, I think, linked in many people's minds to a certain album that John Mayall did with a certain Mr. Clapton. So, you can probably guess which piece of music I'm going to have a go at. Then on Monday, just sort of easing us into what's going to be the new Monday video kind of regime, really. I'm still going to be doing the classic solos, but only every other week. And I've just recorded and I've just finished doing an absolute belter of one, actually, which that's going to be going out in a few weeks' time. One I'm particularly pleased with. But every other week, I'm going to be doing basic sort of lead guitar themed tuition content. And sort of to ease us into that, I'm going to be doing something I don't tend to like to do too often, which is an analysis of one of my own solos from one of the videos that I've put up. You might recall that a little while ago on the Rhythm Wednesday slot, I did a video talking about how to play funk guitar, and there was a solo on that I got several requests to do a breakdown on. So I have, and that's what's coming up on Monday. Then on Tuesday, it's not a top 5 video on Tuesday. Oh dear me, no. Breaking with tradition. It's not a top 5 video, it is a top 12 video. Let me explain. You've probably seen some of this content already on Budget Guitar Show's channel, on Johnny's channel. But a few weeks ago, myself and Steve Cassidy and The Lamb and Johnny from Budget Guitar Show, we had a little bit of a chat on Zoom about our favourite pieces of gear, our least favourite pieces of gear, and our most essential pieces of gear. So, there's 4 of us in the on the Zoom call, and we each choose 3 things. So it's a top 12 Tuesday. A few people have... so you've got Cal Texpert in. A few people have got the Sunday video correct. Yes, indeed, Robert Forsyth. It is indeed... where are we? It is indeed Hideaway, my version of Hideaway. And it was an absolute blast to do, I've got to tell you. Fantastic. So that is Tuesday's video. Wednesday, again, another rhythm guitar related video. We're going to be sort of talking about R&B rhythm styles. The kind of rhythm guitar that, many people associate it with Jimi Hendrix and all of the people who sort of who've been influenced by Jimi Hendrix. But it kind of goes back to like people like Curtis Mayfield as well. That sort of, it's not quite rhythm guitar, it's not quite lead guitar, the sort of thing that John Frusciante excels at, and John Mayer as well. Well, we're looking at the basics of that on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, basically a new guitar day. New guitar, well, it's not mine. It's been on loan to me for a little while. Solo King, which is the Andertons in-house brand. I've got my hands on basically what is the Solo King version of a Harley Benton Fusion T. T-style guitar, pair of humbuckers, Wilkinson trem, stainless steel frets, roasted maple, and we're going to find out, and Entwistle pickups. We're going to find out what that guitar is like on Thursday. So that's what's coming up on the channel this week, and I'm just going to finish this beer while you good folks have a chat amongst yourselves. Ravensmead is saying, who wrote Hideaway? It's a Freddie King tune, really, isn't it? I completely went in reverse order with Hideaway as a tune, because it was written by Freddie King. It was then covered by Eric Clapton in the Blues Breakers, and then Jeff Healey did a version of it on the See the Light album. That was the first version I heard back in 1989 or whenever it was. And everybody's talking about this fantastic John Mayall and the Blues Breakers album with Eric Clapton, the Beano album. But this was the 80s, where you bought your records from Our Price or HMV or, just one of the big record shop chains. They didn't have that album in the racks, So it took me into the early 90s before I heard the Beano album. And then it took me probably into the late 90s before I heard the Freddie King version of the tune, the original version. So I went in exactly the reverse order. And what I've tried to do in my version of the tune is incorporate elements of all 3 versions with a little bit of me, kind of sprinkled over it, liberally in places. That kind of twiddly run that I seem to put into everything, that makes an appearance. And I've tried to do it a bit like the Jeff Healey version, in where it's played like a duet between Jeff Healey and Robbie Blunt. So there's a little bit of kind of sparring going on between 2 different guitar parts. What you're saying there, Rent-A-Kill? Feel sorry for my dad today. He's out and I'm sat here taking all his beer. Oh, well, never mind. Cheers, fellow Fattercasters. Yes, yes. Yeah, you see, that is something of a faux pas, though, mate. You know, the golden rule is you don't touch a chap's beer. You just don't. You know. I know blokes who have, basically a bloke who's one lad in particular who is still best mates with the bloke who ended up marrying his wife, so she left him and married him, and they're still good mates. But I know blokes who have fallen out massively over, did you spill my pint? So you don't touch a chap's beer. It's just not allowed. Austin Barrett, or Deco Dude, as we say. Low budget guitar, sure my son likes his playing. First time I've seen him interested in playing. Well, I'm sure Johnny will be honoured to be the inspiration. Dave Lewis, what you saying there, mate? What's the Amazon bridge pickup you put in your favourite upgraded Jet Telecaster? I shall show you, mate. It is a Artec Alnico 5, which normally I do prefer Alnico 2, but in a single coil sort of size package like this. Alnico 5 hot rail style humbucker. At first I was disappointed that it wasn't black, because this sort of cream sort of thing looks a little bit like an obvious mod, but then I've sort of grown to love it, really, because it sort of gives it that personalised hot rodded look. These pickups are about 25 quid, and with judicious use of the tone control, they will do a Les Paul bridge humbucker bark absolutely fantastically. And then you roll the guitar's volume, because you know the way I like to do things. I like to kind of set the amp for the dirtiest sound I'm going to use and then clean it up using the guitar's volume control. And when you do that, with that pickup, you kind of have it set for like a growly, kind of bitey, grunty bridge humbucker sound, and then you clean it up by rolling the guitar's volume off, and suddenly it transforms into, kind of a country twang Telecaster tone. It is just so versatile. I absolutely adore this guitar. You've got like the Les Paul kind of bark there and the country twang thing, depending on where you've got this set. Then this here has a similar kind of split personality. This is just the stock pickup that comes in the Jet JT350. Again, with the guitar's volume all the way up, it'll do that sort of fluty kind of Parisian Walkways neck pickup tone beautifully well. But then you back the guitar's volume down, and it seems to thin out as well. And becomes very much like a fatter version of the Telecaster neck pickup tone. You could, for instance, easily play the solo from Crazy Little Thing Called Love on that, and then crank the volume up on the guitar, and you could play the intro to Sweet Child of Mine on it. It just works fantastic. And then in the middle setting, purely by accident, it's got that sort of Peter Green sound. That wasn't intentional, but that's fantastic. And, I find that sound especially is good for doing, kind of transparent, clean stuff where you would normally have maybe a position 2 or position 4 Strat kind of sound. It'll take on that sort of character in a mix. You put it with bass drums and maybe a bit of acoustic guitar, and it has that sort of pseudo Knopfler kind of sound. That is just one heck of a versatile guitar. I really, really fantastic. GRB Aquatics is saying, have you done Mick Taylor solo or his full track on Dead Flowers? Amazing playing. I am looking at there are a number of guitarists who are on my wish list to do solos by. Tommy Tedesco, and I think I've just kind of nailed one of his, I'm not sure. I think he played this solo on one of his sessions, and that video is coming up in a little while. Robin Trowett is another one that I need to show a little bit of love, and as is Mick Taylor. I'm really kind of, well, an album I'm listening to a lot at the moment is his 1979 solo album, just called Mick Taylor, and there's loads of stuff on that I'm thinking about doing. Another one that I need to have a look at is Andy Latimer from Camel. But Camel stuff seems to be there's not like a short 8 or 16 bar solo that you can say, right, okay, that's the solo I'm going to learn. It's often like, an entire track of lead guitar. So which bit do you choose? And if you choose that bit, there's always going to be somebody who said you should have chosen that bit, and a bunch of other people as well. I'm aware that I haven't shown Carlos Santana much love in the in recent times. There's a very good reason for that. Whenever you do any kind of guitar solo that it needs a backing track, and the two bands, or one band and one artist, where the backing track takes inordinate amount of work is anything by Cream, because you've got to program a Ginger Baker drum part, or anything by Santana, because you've got to program all that kind of Latin percussion sort of stuff to get it, or try and get something that sounds reasonably like it, and you end up spending 20 minutes recording the solo and maybe a day and a half just doing the drum part to sit behind it. So there you go. But definitely going to be looking at doing some Mick Taylor. Mr. Chris 5254 is saying, has anyone shopped at Cash Converters? Yes. I'm back in focus again. My computer's been drinking. Yeah, I bought my latest laptop from Cash Converters. I paid 150 quid for a Windows 11 laptop. Don't know what the spec is, but I in terms of processor, but I knew I just needed something that had a decent amount of RAM in it. And, the battery life is absolutely toast, which is why, it was so cheap. But, I'm not taking it anywhere. I'm just sat downstairs with it on me knee when I'm working down there on a Friday, typing my new book, by the way, How to Play Melodic Rock Lead Guitar. More details on that to come. And I just have it plugged in as I'm working, and you'll unplug it when it gets to 100%, and then you got maybe an hour and a half of usable battery time, which isn't bad for a 150 quid machine. So I bought that from Cash Converters. I did a video years ago about a Pacifica 112 that I bought from Cash Converters. So yeah, I've shopped there and I've sold them stuff as well. When you go and take something into Cash Converters that you are going to get scalped, basically, that they are not going to offer you what the item is worth, because they've got to add their profit on top of it. Sometimes they're a little bit disingenuous about their reasons for, offering you a lowball price. I took a Telecaster in there once and they offered me a ridiculously low offer for it, and I was absolutely on the bones of my backside at the time financially, and I had to take that offer because it was like, literally, we needed that money to pay the mortgage that month. But by and large, they know that people only go into Cash Converters when they don't have the time to wait out for an eBay sale, or a Reverb sale, or anything else like that, or a Facebook Marketplace sale. They know that you need cash that very day, and that gives them the bargaining power. Which, that said, I've got a few bargains from them myself, as I said. Stephen Hedger. I've just put an Artec mini rails humbucker in one of my Strats and it sounds epic. Yeah, I had a vintage V6 Strat style guitar many years ago. It was my last ever gigging guitar, by the way, that one. Gosh, got to be going back nearly 15 years. And that ended up with the Artec bridge humbucker, rails humbucker, and that was a fantastic, versatile instrument. Back in the days when I was... kind of still thought of myself as a Strat guy. which I tend not to think of myself as these days. Video coming up on that topic sometime soon. J. Ao Young tried a PRS SECE Saturn Ash body. Very light and resonant. Didn't get a chance to plug it in though. Yeah, I've got to tell you, this PRSE that you've seen a couple of times already, you've not seen it recently though, because it's been over to a certain workshop near me, Mr. Agrajag, and he's been sprinkling some of his magic on this guitar. So I'll tell you exactly what that's all about in the video that I'll be making about this guitar, probably on Sunday. So no spoilers there, but you probably know what he's done already. Well, part of what he's done anyway, because I will admit that stainless steel frets are like catnip for me. I just love them. Mickey Walnuts bought the 30th anniversary Vox AC30 from Cash Converters. I was standing in the bank as a rep, waiting for the manager when it came in. They hadn't had a clue what it was, and I said, "I'll give you £200 for that. Deal done." Nice one, mate. Yeah, pounce on those deals while you can. Let's get down to some of the more. There's Mr. Carl Tom, local lad. Just round the corner from me. And Reader's Wives, John. Yes, I haven't forgotten. I know it's just over the halfway mark. We're going to get to that in a minute. I'm just going to have a little bit of a look and see what's been going on in the chat. Anything? There's Lefty Pick. Anybody else giving me a shout out? Anything I need to address? Austin Barrett, the Tone Rider vintage pickups keeps up with my old Fender wide range humbucker pickups for good money. Nice one, mate. Nice one. Do you get any sort of guarantee at Cash Converters? Yeah, it's not like a long-term guarantee. I think you get something like 60 days or something like that, but there is a warranty. Basically, there's a warranty that's long enough if you get it home and it breaks within a week, you've got some kind of recourse. Anything else I need to address? No, I think that's it. Let's head on over to the gallery for this week. I just need to go into that folder and then into that folder, because when I go into these folders and launch it, and then try and share the screen, it never seems to work. So anyway, we've got a rather interesting looking guitar coming up first in line. Where are we? Share screen, and here we go. This one belongs to the southpaw of this parish, Mr. Cal B. This is his Strat that he bought just this week, I think. It's a brand I've never heard of, Tease. I don't know if that's something that's, a kind of North America or Canada only kind of thing. That headstock does look a little bit suspiciously kind of Harley Benton, though. So I'm just wondering if it's in the same factory as them. As you can tell, as I said, Cal B and the Rocco Cat, no less, is a southpaw. But I think he said he paid, I think it was somewhere in the region of $130 for that. Correct me if I'm wrong, mate. But it's got that look of a decent Strat, and that was always the thing in the 90s. If I just zoom in here, when you used to find a cheap Strat copy, it was always this contour here where they extended the burst round there to hide the fact that it was plywood, didn't they? Do you remember those days when like Westfield and Tanglewood and other companies like that used to do that to kind of just disguise the fact that they were flogging you a lump of plywood? Lovely looking guitar, mate, and of course the right number of frets, 22. It's just a personal thing for me. Then this is Mr. David Phillips, who's in the chat at the moment. A Framus idol maker in translucent black, satin effect, just arrived today, or yesterday, September the 5th. Originally went for £900, but I got this for £325, including delivery from a vendor on eBay. It came with a good quality gig bag and was delivered in its original famous branded cardboard box. It's as if I'd bought a brand new guitar. Mint condition, just a few finger marks because of the satin effect finish. I'm not usually known for heaping praise on offset-shaped guitars, but that sort of Fender Jazzmaster Jaguar kind of shape, when you flip it round, so it's kind of like, it's basically the opposite way up. You get something a little bit more Explorer looking, and I just think that's a really good looking guitar. And David is going to be giving me a loan of that guitar later in a few months' time, and there'll be a video going out about that. Lovely looking guitar, mate. Congratulations. Then some more from the same chap's collection. The first guitar, what we got here? The first guitar on the left, based on a Mark Knopfler Strat. 3 mini toggle switches, which gives him the Gilmore mod, and then the other two for parallel and series switching. The middle one is, again, I think these are all parts casters. Ironstone gold pickups and 500k pots as opposed to the 250, giving a brighter tone, making it an ideal bright and twangy sound guitar for playing country style. And this third one is, let me just move this little control out there. The third one, photo on the right, was based on appearance on a Richie Sambora Strat. Added 2 toggle switches for the Gilmore mod and for humbuckerizing the middle and bridge pickups. The guitar's main claim to fame is that it features the very first commercially available set of Evil Sheep pickups, numbered 0001. Now, Dave's been kind of messaging me about these Evil Sheep pickups. Not a brand I've ever heard of, but apparently Dave Simpson's quite fond of them. Then we've got Dinger's 63, his Squier Classic Vibe 50s Telly. It's just, I've never owned a Classic Vibe 50s telly. I've got to grab one because it's just like it's becoming just such a classic in its own right, isn't it? It's just the epitome of what a Telecaster should be: basic, affordable, and no frills. And I've never owned one. Watch this space. Now, this is a rather special amp belonging to Grandpa Joe. This is an Ampeg Gemini 1. And yes, there's a little bit of a story attached to this amp, which I don't have time to tell you here, but it's bear in mind that this is a 1966 amplifier. Look at the condition that it's in. It is absolutely mint condition. What a beautiful thing. And as I say, I'll get round to probably making a video about the story of this amp at some point. And there's a nice tale attached to this. Might even get Joe to come and join me on that video. But anyway, beautiful looking thing. And as is this. This is Len McIver's 1974 20th anniversary Les Paul. And when Len sent me this picture, I said, there's just this guitar just screams authenticity. You can tell that is a guitar. I don't know what it is, because the relicking and the kind of the Murphy Lab stuff has got to the point now where when you look at one, you think, yeah, that looks pretty convincing. But something about this just makes you just know that this hasn't come out of the factory last week. You know that this has been a good and faithful workhorse for many a year. It's albeit without the middle pickup. It reminds me of like a Peter Frampton Les Paul. Beautiful looking thing. Then Mark Fay and his friends, Heritage Guitars collection. All of these guitars are Heritage guitars. This one at the back here, this H555, that we're trying to work out a way of getting that on the channel at some point, but a beautiful bunch of guitars. Never played a Heritage guitar and really, really curious to see what they're like, because find a bad review of one. You just can't. Then, again, another guitar from Mark Fee, a 1950s Gibson L5, big old kind of 50s Gibson jazz box. Lovely stuff. And this particular instrument here belongs to Theme Tunes, who of this parish. There he is in the chat. This is his 2015 Les Paul Deluxe, which is one of those guitars that there was a bit of a backlash against them, wasn't there? Because the kind of motorized tuners and everything, and this was essentially a Gibson dealer cutting his losses and wanting to kind of just move the guitar on, and Mr. Theme Tunes got a rather good deal on this. He reports that this is the G-Force tuner edition, which is much better than those awful robot tuners that I think were possibly responsible for creating a large part of the backlash against those guitars. Then our friend Dave Phillips again, his mate's guitar. His mate Richard owns a lovely bunch of guitars. This is Richard's Epiphone ES339 in dark cherry. Yep, lovely looking guitar, mate. Let's move on. And another one is Gibson Les Paul Classic in cherry sunburst. Yes, I had a loan of a Les Paul Classic a couple of years ago. It was a lovely guitar. It's sort of just everything that you expect a Les Paul to be, but like a little bit extra, like the sort of the coil splitting and the phase switching and stuff. What else have we got? We've got again another one from the same collection. Here's Harley Benton DC Custom 600. His only gripe with the model is that although it has 24 frets, the neck joins the body at the 19th fret, where on a Gibson Epiphone, the neck joins at the 22nd fret, offering full access all the way. Yeah, you can tell that you've got a little bit more work to do to get right up to that last fret. And those chaps are the readers' wives for this evening. Thank you to everyone who sent in the pictures of those lovely guitars. If you have any pictures of guitars that you'd like to see in the Friday night gallery, then send them along. jrguitartuition@gmail.com. JR, that's me, John Robson, Guitar Tuition, that's what I do for a living. All one word, jrguitartuition@gmail.com. And, I just basically what I do is all the pictures that come in, they just get dumped into a folder, and then shortly before the live stream every week, I haven't chosen the readers' guitar, the viewers' guitars this week, and I just go that one, and just randomly dump like between 10 and a dozen of them into a folder, and those are what we see each week. That there's no kind of logic or system to it beyond that. It's just literally I'm kind of running behind, and I just those and kind of drag and drop them into the folder for viewing. Let's have a look, see what I've missed in the chat. First, I'll have a wee lubrication first. Lagging behind this week. It's 1:45, and I haven't even finished my second beer yet. A lot of people saying what a lovely Les Paul. That tube amp looks class. It does indeed. Austin Barrett's definitely going to send some pictures of my guitars. I've got one you've not seen. I say that every week. Yes, you do, mate. Where are we? Excuse me. Little drop of... swallow that too quickly. There we go. Some curry will sort that out later. Robert Forsyth is saying, Steve Cropper's new album, Friendly Town. Who knew the guy could sing? I didn't know he could, but I can't honestly say I'm surprised. I mean, you don't hang out with the likes of Otis Redding, Sam and Dave, Wilson Pickett, and the like, and not pick up a thing or two, I suppose. Cal B and the Rocco Cat saying $130 US delivered for that lovely Tees Strat copy. Ravens Meter saying Reader's Wife section is just crying out for the vision on music. Yes. I'm going to have to figure out how. I'm going to have a word with my pal Mr. Cassidy there to see how he manages to get background music going. Because, despite the fact that I make videos and edit videos and do a live stream and record albums and stuff on a PC. I'm such a Luddite when it comes to technology. I don't know how to kind of get background music on in a live stream. Johnny D is saying new David Gilmour album dropped today. Heard first 3 tracks. Business as usual. Yeah. I got to tell you, I had a listen to the last one. What was it called? Rattle That Lock, and I just thought, yeah, it didn't grab me in the same way as and none of it, even like his earlier albums, like About Face, going way back. They've never really grabbed me. I think a large part of what made Pink Floyd work was probably that creative tension that, or personal tension that existed between Roger Waters and David Gilmour. That possibly was what made, which gave the music that energy and that spark. And apart from one Roger Waters album, Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking, I can't really say that I've heard anything on any solo Roger Waters work that's given me, any sort of fizz either. So, I'll probably have a listen to it, but it's. I'm not starting from a position of optimism, shall we say? Rent to kill. I have a doctor's appointment. Willing to swap for some Oasis tickets. Yeah, well, it's a toss-up, really, isn't it? Which is harder to come by, an appointment with your doctor or some tickets for an Oasis gig. I mean, there's been all sorts of, shall we say, controversy about the pricing structure, the dynamic pricing of those Oasis tickets. People finally get to the front of the queue and then realise that the tickets are more expensive than they were first told. It is what it is. That's when something is in high demand and there's a scarcity. What does that tend to do to the price? According to the laws of supply and demand, it's it's what are you going to do, basically? Get the government involved, really? I think they probably have bigger problems to solve than regulating arena gig or stadium gig ticket pricing. Maybe there's bigger fish to fry on that score, but it's. I know 2 people who have got tickets, and they paid roughly what they were expecting to pay. Now, were they just lucky, or were the people who kind of, got a horrible shock when they realised how much it was going to cost them? Are they unlucky? Who knows? We've got Craig Stamen in, who's ready for some beer. Steve Cassidy, did Oasis get back together? Yeah, you might have heard something about it, mate. Just having a look in the chat. Steve Cassidy's going, I wouldn't know how to do it on StreamYard, mate. Sorry, just chuck it on a Bluetooth speaker in the background. Is that what you do, mate? That might be sometimes the simple solutions are all the obvious solutions are the one that you miss. Lefty Picker saying, "Feck Oasis, my eyebrows are thicker." Mott the Hoople, I'd rather have a doctor's appointment than Oasis tickets. Yeah, I don't dislike Oasis, but I was never. I think I was probably the wrong age for Oasis when they came along. The big guitar bands when I was an adolescent were, I guess, Rainbow and Judas Priest and all of those kind of UFO and bands like that. And it's when you're at that sort of adolescent age, that's when particular styles of music tend to make the big impression on you. So I can understand why, these anti-establishment sneering northerners from not nearly northerners, from Manchester, which is down south as far as I'm concerned, why they appeal to a cohort of rebellious teenagers. I get that, and one thing I will say is that, they made the guitar cool again. Noel Gallagher and Kurt Cobain in the early 90s saved us from, I think, a future of electronic dance music dominating everything, and what I call dunch music, because whenever you hear a car drive past that's playing that rubbish, all you hear coming out of the windows is dunch, 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 like that. So, Liam and Noel and Kurt Cobain and all of those kind of Brit rock and Britpop bands, they saved us from that becoming the dominant youth culture and made the guitar cool again, which for somebody who makes a living teaching people to play the guitar, I need the guitar to be a relevant thing in culture. So, I'm grateful for that, at least. David Evans is saying, I have to send you a pic of my late dad's 73 Gibson Les Paul Custom in Cherryburst. Trouble is, my mum, bless her, has hidden it away. So she's worried about the insurance on it. Yeah, that is something to think about, actually. If you own, shall we say, a boutique or vintage guitar, and anything happens to it, try making a claim on your home contents insurance. It's you might find that you don't have the coverage you thought. Dave Lewis, has anyone mentioned the Queen's guitarist Brian May had a stroke this week? I didn't know that, mate. I'm hoping he's okay. I mean, he's got to be a canny age now, though, hasn't he? So I'm not saying, it's to be expected, but it's not unexpected. I mean, do you remember that? What was it, about 2016, when there just seemed to be, like, I think, kind of Lemmy passed away, David Bowie passed away, and we had was it Carrie Fisher, and it just seemed to be like a load of people that you remember being just there, that you just tend to think of these people as being somehow not subject to, the sort of flesh and blood, kind of issues that plague the rest of us, because they're big, iconic figures. I didn't know Brian had a stroke. Brian, if you're watching, which you're probably not, get well soon, mate. And let's hope that, you've got another album and another tour in you, mate. Brian May said he can still play the guitar. That's excellent news. News. Glad to hear it, mate. That's again, if I didn't do this live stream, I probably wouldn't have heard about that. Oh, I've got to tell you one thing. One thing I've done this week is I've finally bitten the bullet and signed up for YouTube Premium. Has anyone else found that the adverts are getting more intrusive and longer? Like, that little kind of dial that goes round in the corner where it tells you can skip in what used to be 5 seconds. Now it's like 30 seconds, or in some cases 90 seconds. And if I hear that awful nasal voiced woman singing "Darling, Hold My Hand" one more time. There will, I promise you, be breakages. I don't know if you get that ad overseas, but it's just probably the most frequent and most annoying YouTube video ad ever. So yesterday I thought, I've had enough of this. When if I watch anything on screen at all, it's very, very ridiculously rarely is it anything that's actually on TV, like broadcast TV. I'm currently working my way through Breaking Bad, just into the second season of that again, after finishing Sons of Anarchy. And apart from that, Wheeler Dealers on Discovery Plus, Salvage Hunters, again, Discovery Plus. And apart from that, it's YouTube. And it's great. I watched, didn't watch, I had it on while I was working today. I had an old Derren Brown show on that's up on YouTube and just watched the whole thing. And it just I wasn't having to kind of, every 2.5 minutes, having to kind of wait out an advert that was getting on my nerves. Yeah, £12 a month, I think it is. And, I think for the entertainment value, and as I say, just getting rid of those frustrating adverts, for me, it's worth it. Other thing I need to mention in the dying minutes is that, I'm sorry I'm not wearing my Fatacasters t-shirt tonight, but if you've got one and you want to see it included on the live stream as part of the gallery section, take a picture of yourself wearing it and ping it over to me, and I will. I'll start getting a little compilation put up of fellow Fatacasters. Where are we? Jay Owie only saying, fortunately the ads here haven't reached that level of annoyance yet. Well on its way though. I mean, I shouldn't really complain because I'm not going to tell you how much I earn from YouTube, but let's just say that it's not uncommon for YouTube to pay our monthly grocery bill in this house. And that all comes from those annoying adverts. But then again, it's not like I'm kind of doing anything nefarious or underhand to excuse myself from watching them. I'm paying for the privilege. What really, really annoys me, though, is when you pay for a subscription to something and they still show you ads. They still insist that you watch the ads. Amazon Prime's getting increasingly like that. So, I think maybe a strongly worded email to Mr. Bezos or whatever he's called. That'll teach him. Wait till you hear from the fat lad in Redcar. That'll make you sort your ideas out, mate. What else have I missed in the chat while I've been rabbiting? YouTube Premium, eh? John belongs to a different class now. Opulence. Well, it's maybe I'll cut back in other areas. Maybe I'll cut back on the beer. Yeah, don't bank on it though. Anton, yeah, YouTube ads in the middle of a song or backing track, ultimate annoyance. Couldn't agree more with you, mate. Couldn't agree more with you. At least on Spotify, when you have the free Spotify subscription, the songs the ads don't interrupt the songs, or didn't in my day anyway, but I've had a premium Spotify for a while now. Anyway, chaps, get yourselves over to Steve Cassidy's channel and watch his latest upload, which will be going live in under a minute. But that's all I've got for you today. I've only drank 2 beers on the live stream tonight. I'm lagging behind. And I'm not going to pour another one now because I wouldn't get a chance to drink it before. Well, I could do. I could, but I'm not going to. I could chug it. But thanks for turning up once again to watch a fat, bald northern lad talk absolute nonsense and cobblers for an hour. It's been a blast, and I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. But for now, time, gentlemen, please.